Joined by James Patrick, the head coach of the Winnipeg ICE. James, as we speak right now, you guys are about to embark on a trip for your first game in the 2022 WHL preseason. But let's circle back to kind of the start of the month and the start of camp, and just if you could, just give me a sense of what the mood's like around your group and how everybody's feeling and the anticipation level for starting a new season out in Winnipeg.
Well, I think first of all, I think there was a lot of positives from the playoffs last year. Obviously, you got beat by a real good team, but didn't meet all our goals. So I think I'd like to say that the feeling starting up here 4 months later is a hungry group. I think they're, I would say, confident. They feel good about where they are right now. They know that they have more to prove. So I think, when I'm talking about our returning players, that's the feeling pretty much across the board.
Yeah, and when we did this last year, one of the things that stuck out to me that you said was that your group kind of realized they had the opportunity to do something special. And I get the sense perhaps that, your returning guys and even some of your younger guys who might not have gotten as big a taste of last season, I would expect perhaps that sentiment rings true again this year.
Yeah, I think there is a bit of that, but every year is a new year, and there is so much work ahead of us. And I want our team to have high expectations and lofty goals, but it's still we want to focus on the process, and we want to focus on how hard we're going to have to work and how much work we had ahead of us. But yeah, certainly, we got some young players. You think about Zach Benson, Jonas Wu, who they're very young still in this league, but they played real big roles for us last year, and they're going to play bigger roles this coming year. You think about Geeky and Benson are still 18-year-olds, so a lot of growth expected in their games, and I expect a lot of improvement from all of those four guys.
Judging by kind of the list I have in front of me, you have plus minus 7 guys going to NHL camps here in advance of the regular season, and 3 players who were selected in the first round in Savoy and Geeky and Carson Lambos. But one guy that really interested me over the course of the summer, and I had a chance to speak to him, was Mikey Millen, and a guy that a bit of an older player, right, and got drafted in his 19-year-old year, but boy, was he a big contributor for your group last year. I'd just like to hear your thoughts on Mikey and just the fact that he got kind of rewarded or recognized for the work that he's put in with your group by the Minnesota Wild.
Yeah, no, it was pretty exciting for him and for us when he did. We had a good feeling that he was going to get drafted. I was, real happy where he did go, both team and certainly being in the third round. Mike has been a real good player for us for a number of years. Started as a 16-year-old, got great experience as a 16-year-old playing on a team that was very young. He got to play a pretty big role that our last year in Cranbrook, and then 17-year-old here was just kind of a real good energy penalty killer, could move up and down the lineup. And I really believe he would have been drafted his 18-year-old year had he not got hurt. And, he missed most of it. It was just, he had COVID, he had playing out of a bubble. He had to deal with a serious injury and took away a big part of his year. But last year, one of our biggest contributors, most consistent players, at times our best player in the playoff, scored probably more big goals than any player for us. So he's who knows? He's going to Minnesota's camp. He's looking very confident. He's skating really good. He's in great shape, and we'll see what comes out of that. We might never see Mike again, and if that does happen, it'll be fantastic for him. But if he's back, he sure makes our team better.
Zachary Benson, obviously part of that really nice looking class of 2005 born players that, he's in the conversation with the Bedards, the Jaegers, the Crystals, the list goes on, right? But,
yeah.
One of the things that I hear about Zach Benson and talking to people about him is just how he thinks the game and how cerebral he is. If you could expand on, just what makes him tick and how special a player he is and how big a part of your group he'll be.
Yeah, I think when you see the raw skills, really good skater, really good hands, when I first saw him, I was like, he has got a great skating stride that he will just keep getting faster and faster because he's fit, he's lean and fit, but when he gets stronger in his core and his legs, that he's gonna, I think, become more of an explosive player. But at the right now, he's a real good skater. He's the smartest 15, 16-year-old hockey player I've ever coached. He just he reads the game really well. He knows how to play both ways. He's got a great stick, one of the best sticks as far as taking away passing lanes, knocking down passes, pucks out of the air. Really, he's at 16 probably our best penalty killer. You would describe him as that. He's real important on the power play. He can play any role on the power play. He can play in the hole. He can play up top as a quarterback. He can play the flank, and he's a really good distributor of the puck. When guys play with them, they have their game goes to another level. That's kind of how we viewed him last year. We tried him in a few different lines with different players, and whatever line he played on, that line seemed to be going, or those guys, the game picked up, and attribute a lot of that to his hockey sense and his playmaking ability.
My last one for you, James, is we look ahead to 2 weeks out here from the start of the regular season. Certainly, you guys are a team that I think a lot of people are looking at as again a pretty strong looking group as far as what you're presenting on paper and your record last year. But how excited, how interested are you guys to kind of test your mettle against what looks like it's going to be a really competitive East Division this year?
I felt the same way. I mean, the last three, you take away the bubble, but you come into these seasons, and I think we got a good team. I think we're good on paper, but you don't know what the other teams are going to look like. You don't know what it's going to look like till you actually are on the ice playing against them. But I just know this. I know you look at our division and you look at, I can go team by team on how improved a lot of these teams are, how much, Swift Current had a number of drafted players, had a young team, but they keep getting better as they get older. Brandon, some of their best players are, guys who are, 16, 17. So they're going to be coming into their own. Certainly this year, I expect them to be improved. Regina, when you build a team around Bedard, who's a superstar at 16 and now, 15, 16, now is in a 17 draft year, that their whole team is built around him, but they're going to be better. So I don't know. I don't know how we are going to match up until we're actually on the ice. I don't know what our team's going to look like. We don't know if our players going to NHL camps, which players will be coming back. All we can do is focus on the players that are going to be here, getting them ready to play our system and get ready to compete as hard as can be, and see where we stand when we match up.